You're productive as hell for 3 days, a week, maybe even a month, and then poof, you hit a wall, everything drops, and that's when the guilt kicks in, and that's when the shame starts. Sound familiar? Hey squirrels, welcome to ADHD, where ADHD isn't some clinical diagnosis, it's just life. I'm AV, your always honest tour guide through this beautiful mess. Over here, we're not about fixing yourself. We're about figuring out how to actually enjoy your life as you are. So grab a snack and let's go. Hey squirrels, welcome back to ADHD, where we talk about running a business and a brain that just simply does not always play by the rules. Today's episode is for anyone who lives in that frustrating loop where you go all in, you got a new plan, or you got a new system, you have new motivation, and then you crash hard. You're productive as hell for 3 days, a week, maybe even a month, and then poof, you hit a wall, everything drops, and that's when the guilt kicks in, and that's when the shame starts. Sound familiar? We are talking about the start-stop cycle, also known as productivity whiplash. It's exhausting. It's demoralizing. And if you're neurodivergent, it's probably your default operating mode. But it doesn't have to take over your life completely. By the end of today's episode, you will understand why this cycle happens, how to spot it early, and what you can do to finally smooth it out so you can stay in motion while minimizing the burnout. I'm not going to say without any burnout at all, but definitely minimizing. So let's jump in and start first of all with how this shows up, because half of the battle obviously is recognizing that you're in it. So you might be stuck in the start-stop cycle. Say that 10 times fast. It's a lot of tongue twisters today. If you regularly swing between hyperfocus and total shutdown, so like you go really hard and then you scroll for an hour or 2 or 5 or 10. I'm not talking to myself. I'm definitely only talking to you. I don't do that ever. You might be stuck in the stop-start cycle if your productivity looks like a highlight reel, but it's not routine, it's not consistent. Like, it's very sexy. Lots of productivity, very fast, but it's just doesn't have a routine and it doesn't have consistency to it. Maybe you set up super ambitious plans that collapse after a few off days. That one was to me. You feel guilty for needing rest because you were just on a roll. You've said things like, I need to get back on track, more times than you can freaking count. And here's the kicker, right? When you are on, you feel amazing. You're creative, you're efficient, you're unstoppable, like you are go. And then you crash hard. And instead of resting, you, if you're anything like me, beat yourself up for losing momentum. That's the whiplash part. That's the ouch. You keep trying to rebuild from zero, not realizing your system requires the crash. It requires the crash to reset because it wasn't built to sustain the sprint in the first place. Every computer crashes if you push it too hard, right? You are just a computer with a lot more feelings and more tears and probably more anger, although we don't know. Let's see what the rise of AI shows us. So if that sounds familiar to you, cool. You're not alone. Welcome. You found your people. Everyone listening here pretty much feels the same way. Okay, so let's talk about why this happens. Like, what is going on? For neurodivergent minds, for someone with ADHD, autism, or otherwise nonlinear thinkers, otherwise complex thinkers, motivation is not a steady state. For anyone, motivation is not a steady state. For everyone, and we've talked about this before, motivation is kind of bullshit. There is only doing the thing or not doing the thing. But for neurodivergent people, it's exclusively interest-based. That means that your brain naturally activates around novelty, urgency, or emotional charge. If none of those things exist, you are not interested. Now, again, that is not to say that we can just pick and choose the things that we do and the things that we don't do, the things that we're interested in, the things that we're not interested in. The reason to have this information is because you need to know what's going to naturally drain you more. So if it's not interest-based, that doesn't mean you can't do it. I have ADHD. I can't do anything that doesn't interest me. No, it just means it's going to require more of your bandwidth. And that's okay, but we need to calculate for it in our systems to protect yourself ultimately. Okay. So when something is new, when something is exciting, when it has a tight deadline, boom, that's when dopamine hits and you are flying. You can build a website in 48 hours. You can reorganize your entire life on a Saturday night. You can reorganize all the furniture in your house 3 times before it looks perfect and it only took you 5 hours. That's crazy. That's not discipline. That's chemistry. Okay. The fact that you can do that is not because you're a disciplined human who can sit down and build a website for 48 hours. It's because your brain works like an addict. It's just like got addicted to the website build and you hit it hard. Here's the problem. Once the novelty fades, which it will by definition, that's what novelty means, that it's new, or when the urgency drops, your dopamine tanks. And that task that felt easy 2 days ago now feels like you're climbing Mount Everest. And you probably didn't actually finish building the website in 2 days. You finished building 86% of the website in 2 days. And now you have 14% left and you're screwed. And instead of realizing, oh, my energy shifted, you assume I am lazy, I'm inconsistent, I'm unmotivated, I'm just a giant pile of crap. So what do? Overcorrect, right? The pendulum, she swings to overcorrect in the other direction. You push yourself harder, you guilt yourself into another sprint, and the cycle repeats until your body forces you to stop. Maybe you get sick. Maybe you just can't move one day. Maybe you sleep through your alarms. Maybe you have migraines. Maybe you have stomach aches. For ADHDers especially, this pattern isn't about willpower. It's about regulation and respecting yourself. Your nervous system, right? When we say your nervous system, we literally just mean yourself. It's swinging between overstimulation and depletion. And the crash isn't failure, it's just a system that's begging for balance. It's obvious. We can anticipate this outcome. But as always, I have something for you. Don't fret. I'm not leaving you out here with no tools and just problems. No, no, no. That is where time tuning comes in. So let's talk about this tool because it is the missing link for so many people that are stuck in this start-stop cycle. Time tuning is about learning how your time actually feels, not just how it looks on a calendar, okay? Because if you're a neurodivergent person, then the minutes and the clock and the time on the outside, it just doesn't really hold the same weight for us as it does for neurotypical people. So this is about paying attention to the energy texture of your day. How does it feel? Think of it like this, okay? Your schedule is the skeleton and time tuning is the nervous system. If you think about it like your body. So you're asking, when do I naturally move fast or slow? What kind of work feels light? What kind of work feels heavy? At what times does it feel light? At what time does it feel heavy? Where do I lose energy the quickest? And when you start tuning into those signals, you can design your workflow like a tempo map and not like a stopwatch, which is not really reasonable for us. So here's how it works in practice. If you know that your mornings are high energy, that's your creative zone. If afternoons feel heavy, that's your admin, that's your recovery zone. If your evenings give you a second wind, that's your flex zone for reflection, for connection, for creative, for play, for recharge. Okay? Once your work aligns with your natural timing and your natural rhythm, you don't have to white knuckle through the dips because you know that you're going to get a break. You can trust yourself. You're building trust with yourself. And you stop fighting your brain and start partnering with it. That's how we smooth out the peaks and valleys, not by working harder, but by working in tune, by working in sync, by working in a way that makes sense, right? Work smarter, not harder. That was one of the first podcast episodes we did. Working smarter, not harder. Okay, but let's talk about the real world. Yeah. Okay. Because this sounds amazingly delightful. But even with rhythm and tuning, some days you're just not it. Just, you wake up foggy. Your body says no. Motivation is not there. So, how do you keep momentum without burning out? Well, there's a couple small adjustments that we can make that make a huge difference. You can create tiered task lists. Task lists, to-do lists assume that all tasks are created equal, and not all productivity is created equal. So instead of one big to-do list, make 3 levels in your to-do list or 3 little classifications of data in your to-do list. High energy task, low medium energy task, and low energy task. So a high energy task might be creative work, strategy, problem solving, that the work that uses your brain power. Medium energy tasks might be admin, email, organization, and low energy tasks maybe are file cleanup, reading voice notes, resting, right? Like catching up on stuff and reframing it that way where your high energy tasks get the best of yourself. You allow yourself to take more control over the way you show up, right? Over where your energy is allocated. And that way when your energy dips, you'll still know what's available. You don't have to think. You just have to switch gears like, "Oh, I really can't do this right now. Let me switch to something that doesn't really require me to think." Okay? Another small thing that you can do is to reduce the activation barrier. And what I mean by that is make the thing easier to do. Okay? Just start. On low days, the hardest part isn't doing the task, it's starting the task initiation. So make it smaller. Instead of write newsletter, it's open doc. Write 3 bullet points. Momentum builds from movement, not from motivation, and certainly not from perfection. Just start. Okay. Use your recovery blocks intentionally. Okay. Don't just rest reactively after you realize you needed to rest. Schedule micro recovery into your week, into your day. 15-minute walk breaks, music resets, dance sessions, silence between meetings. Silence is a beautiful thing. Wall staring for 5 minutes. It's not wasted time. It's smart business. It's insurance against the crash. Okay. And then last but certainly not least, anchor your day with non negotiables. Okay. Even if everything else falls apart, there are 1 or 2 anchors you have to always keep. If that's something that is external to you, like you have kids, you have responsibilities, those are non-negotiable. But try and have non-negotiables with yourself as well. Maybe a morning stretch, journaling, evening wind down, a little bit of reading, a cup of tea, a something. That consistency signals safety to your nervous system and to yourself. Again, you're building trust with yourself one little bit at a time because that's how we build trust. I don't remember whose theory this is, the marble theory of building trust. Yeah, Dr. Brené Brown. Dr. Brené Brown has the marble theory of trust. I just saw this the other day on Stephen Bartlett's podcast. Um, and she essentially says that the way that we build trust, and this is so true, is one little marble at a time. We fill each other's jars with one marble at a time. So you can't just show up and say, trust me. That simply doesn't work. The trust is built over time and with consistency, and trust with yourself is just the same. And I saw somebody else. I want to make sure I'm giving everyone credit. Okay. I saw Sharan Srivatsa. Sharan Srivatsa said, "It's okay to suck, it's not okay to skip." Meaning, when you make a promise to yourself, when you say you're going to do something, you have to show up and do it. Even if you do it super badly. You told yourself you're going to go to the gym and spend 2 minutes on the treadmill. That's cool. It's okay to suck, it's not okay to skip. And by keeping those promises to yourself, you're building trust with yourself and you're building that consistency. You don't need every day to be high output. You just need continuity. This next thing is simple, but it's the truth that neurodivergent brains hate hearing. Okay. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to myself. I'm sorry to all of you. Small, steady progress beats occasional massive pushes every time. Louder for the ones in the back. Small, steady progress beats occasional massive pushes every gosh darn time. Why? Because consistency compounds. This is the power of compound interest. These micro movements build trust. Every time you show up for a small action, you're rewiring your brain from I only succeed in sprints to I follow through. And think of it like this, okay? The sprint is sexy. It feels powerful. It feels amazing. But the slow burn is sustainable power that builds on itself. It is the rhythm that lets you create without crashing, that lets you move without guilt, that lets you keep going even when your brain is not firing on all cylinders, which is going to happen. So don't allow yourself to be caught by surprise by something that is going to happen, that is an inevitability. You don't need to conquer your time. You don't need to fight all the goddamn time. You just need to steady it. And that's how we break the stop start cycle for good. And y'all, I'm not preaching to you from the end, the goalpost here. I am in this. I am learning this alongside you. And I practice this all the time. And it is freaking hard. I didn't have a point to that except to say, I see you, I validate you. We're all in this together. Let's keep going and learning from each other. Here is the takeaway. All right, y'all. You do not need another planner. You do not need another app. You do not need another motivational quote. You do not need more willpower. You don't even need more motivation. You need to stop fighting and you need a smoother relationship with time. One that lets you move forward and continue pushing forward with momentum even when your energy shifts, which is inevitable. It's going to happen. So don't let it take you by surprise. That is just bad planning and bad business to allow an inevitability to take you by surprise, to take you by surprise. If you are tired of swinging between all in hustle and total burnout, especially this time of the year, all right, we're in our last 2 months, the time workshop replay is your next step. All right. Time stands for transforming intention into meaningful execution. Not just a plan, not just in your mind, actually actionable on paper, in real life, transmittable, and producing momentum. So you will learn how to smooth out your workflow and keep momentum without draining yourself, no matter how busy the season gets. Okay. Watch the replay now. Links are going to be below for you. And here's your teaser for next month. Once your time is flowing, you're transforming intention into meaningful execution. The next step is deciding what to actually put that energy toward. And we are going to design offers built around your strengths, offers that practically sell themselves because they are rooted in how you work best. So stay tuned because the next part is where the magic happens. I'll see you next time, squirrels. Can't wait. Bye.